चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome all of you all for our Gita overview class. So today we are going to discuss the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the overview of the 10th chapter. So before we get into it, as we are doing every week, we'll just do like a quick recap of the first 9 chapters. Chapter 1, what is the name of chapter 1? Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna Vishad Yoga. What is the acronym for chapter 1? Doubt. Chapter 2 is called Sankhya Yoga. In English, contents of the Gita summarized. Chapter 2 has how many verses? 72 verses. Good. So what is the acronym for chapter 2? Gita. Chapter 3 is called Karma Yoga. What is the acronym for chapter 3? Tree. T-R-E-E. Very good. Chapter 4 is Transcendental Knowledge. What is the acronym for chapter 4? Years. Chapter 5 is again Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. What is the acronym for chapter 5? Step. Chapter 6 is Dhyana Yoga. The acronym for chapter 6 is Easy. Correct. And then chapter 7 is Attaining the Knowledge of the Absolute. What is chapter 7? Knowledge of the Absolute. Correct. संस्कृत में क्या बोलते हैं चैप्टर 7 को? ज्ञान विज्ञान योग. So chapter 7 is knowledge of the absolute. The acronym is head. Chapter 8 is Akshara Brahma Yoga, attaining the supreme. Acronym for chapter 8 is dead. And then last week we discussed chapter 9, which is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga, the most confidential knowledge. And what was the acronym for chapter 9? Key. Good. So far so good. Right. So today we are getting into another very important chapter, chapter 10, which is called Vibhuti Yoga, or in English, the opulence of the absolute. A very important chapter. The acronym for this chapter is SEE. S-E-E. Because in this chapter, Krishna will explain how we can see Krishna in this world. With our material eyes in this world, how we can appreciate Krishna. So, the first set of 7 verses, 1 to 7, speak how Lord Krishna is the source of everything. Thoda sa malna wire malna. Let him move around, but just be careful of the wires. So the first section is 1 to 7, which explains that how Lord Krishna is the source of everything. So the first verse, many of the chapters in Bhagavad Gita begins with Arjuna asking a question and Lord Krishna answering. बहुत सारे अध्याय हैं जहाँ पे अर्जुन प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं और भगवान कृष्ण उत्तर देते हैं. But there are some chapters where Krishna speaks on his own. Krishna is in so much ecstasy that Krishna wants to speak on his own. And this is one such chapter. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhuya eva Mahabaho Shrunu me Paramam Vachaha Yatte हम प्रिय manaya vakshami hita kamyaya. So the Lord is saying, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna. Why is the Lord saying listen again? Because sometimes when you are hearing, it becomes very monotonous. So that time, Lord Krishna as a teacher, he is bringing the attention back of the student into the subject matter. Arjuna is already very attentive. But then when you say now listen again, that means Krishna wants Arjuna to pay more focus and all of us to pay more focus on what Lord Krishna is telling here. So Lord Krishna is saying here, my dear Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge then that better than what I've already explained. If you remember chapter 9, Lord Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, I am giving you the most confidential knowledge, Guhya Tamam. But here Lord Krishna is in so much ecstasy because Arjuna is such a dear friend to Krishna. Krishna is telling Arjuna, I am giving you something more better than what I have already given. So this is Bhagavad Gita where the knowledge of Krishna goes more and more deeper. So Lord Krishna is explaining this word here called Shrunu, just hear. We already discussed this topic about hearing when we were discussing chapter 4. This Shrunu, Shravan, is a very important process. So when we come regularly to satsangs or when we read the books of Srila Prabhupada, when we hear, there is a lot of magic that goes on just by hearing. All the great souls who have become great souls have become great only because of hearing. So hearing is a very, very powerful process. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, please hear. And in this chapter, and through the Gita also, Lord Krishna explains 3 types of knowledge. This is called Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. Right? So these are 3 types of knowledge or 3 levels in which the Vedic scriptures are divided into. 3 parts or 3 aspects of the Vedic scriptures. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. What is Sambandha? Sambandha means understanding who we are, who Krishna is, what the material world is, what is our relationship with Krishna, what is our relationship with the material world is called Sambandha Gyan. Abhideya is the process to establish that relationship. So Sambandha Gyan is theory. Just like in science we do an experiment. So in a science experiment you have theory and then you have practical. And then when you do the practical application of it, you get a result. So that's what this is. Sambandh is the theory part. So when you know the theory, so how do you know the theory? By hearing. So how do you gain Sambandha Gyan? By hearing. So when we come to the classes of Gita Bhagavatam, we are gaining knowledge about Krishna, about who we are. We are gaining all this knowledge. So this theory helps us, inspires us to get into the next level called Abhideya. Abhideya means practice. And Abhideya basically represents the 9 limbs of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. The 9 limbs of bhakti, the process of devotional service is called Abhideya. So now when you practice Abhideya, along with the knowledge of Sambandha, then you will come gradually to the 3rd level, which is Prayojan. Prayojan matlab result, aim. What do we want to achieve through this experiment of bhakti? And the Prayojan is Prema Pumarto Mahar. So what are we aiming for in Krishna consciousness? We are not aiming for liberation. We are aiming for something beyond that, which is love for God. The original pure love that we have in our heart, we want to experience that. That is called Prayojan. So in this particular chapter, we will come across 4 very important verses called the Chatushloki Gita. These are the 4 most important verses in the entire Gita. Or you can say these are 4 verses which sums up the entire message of Gita. Gita in a nutshell, 4 verses. And in those 4 verses, Lord Krishna explains these 3 concepts: Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. So therefore, hearing, and especially hearing in association of devotees, is something that is very, very important. In the Bhagavatam, you have Parikshit Maharaj hearing with all the saints from Shukdev Goswami. You have Shaunaka Rishi who are hearing from Sutta Goswami. So hearing in association is very powerful. So in Kali Yuga, the process of bhakti works best when we do it in association. We may try to do it alone, but then it's going to be very difficult. But when we are there in association of devotees, the process becomes much more better. So Lord Krishna is speaking this word Shrunu, which is a very important word in this particular verse, uh, where we can all become inspired in Krishna consciousness. If you read the purport that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, the second paragraph, Prabhupada mentions here, I'm just reading it out. The more one hears about the Supreme Lord, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. So Srila Prabhupada is making this very beautiful point that the more we hear about Krishna, the more we become fixed in devotional service. And such kind of hearing, only devotees who are serious will come. Just like this program, right? So only those who are really serious to understand Gita will come. Prabhupada would often say, one moon is better than millions of stars. What is the point in having millions of stars? One moon. So that kind of seriousness is what we have to develop. In text 2, Lord Krishna explains, Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adir devana maharshinam cha sarvasha. So Lord Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, what I am telling you is so rare that even demigods, great sages, they also don't know my opulence. So understanding Krishna is not very easy. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which we will see the next time, Lord Krishna says, just seeing the form of Krishna, we are so used to seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. Lord Krishna at the end of the 11th chapter explains, even to see the form of Krishna, even great demigods have a problem. Even they don't get to see the form of Krishna. So sometimes when we get things very easily, we don't understand the value of it. So Lord Krishna is saying, Name vidu, no one can understand me. Aham adiri devanam. So Lord Krishna says, I am the source of all the demigods and sages. So Krishna, when we worship Krishna, we automatically satisfy all the demigods. We don't have to separately satisfy any of them. So Lord Krishna is saying, Aham adiri devanam. I am the source of all the demigods and the sages. So the point here, when Lord Krishna is saying, Name vidu suragana. So Lord Krishna is saying, the demigods cannot understand me. What does it mean? Lord Krishna is trying to say that demigods, matlab, they have the mindset of material pleasures. Those who are in Swarga, the enjoyment mentality is very strong. So Lord Krishna is saying, with great power, someone may be very powerful, someone may be a demigod, someone may have enjoying mentality and all these things. One cannot understand me. These are all obstacles to understand Krishna. Na maharshaya. So Lord Krishna says, even great sages cannot understand me through austerities and penances. The 11th chapter of Gita, even though we'll be doing it the next time, we can just open a very beautiful verse. So Lord Krishna explains the 11th chapter of Gita, the second last verse. Okay, not second last, verse number 53. We'll do 53 and 54. So this is Lord Krishna's conclusion. Verse 53 of the 11th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Naham vede na tapasa, na dane na chedyaya, shakya evam vidum drishtvan asi mam yata. So Lord Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, one cannot understand me through study of Vedas, through tapasya, through dan. You cannot understand me through these processes. So how can one understand Krishna? In text 54 of the 11th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Bhaktya tva ananyaya shakya aham evam vidurjuna gyatum drishtum cha tattvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Lord Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, only by pure unalloyed devotional service one can understand me. So therefore Lord Krishna is very clear throughout the Gita. Many times people have an objection, why is Srila Prabhupada mentioning so much about bhakti? But Bhagavad Gita speaks about bhakti very clearly. Lord Krishna is saying here very clearly, demigods cannot understand me through their enjoyment mentality. The sages cannot understand me. Only devotees can understand Krishna. And who is this Krishna? Lord Krishna explains in text 3, Yomam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asamuda samartyeshu sarva pape pramuchate. So Lord Krishna says only a pure devotee who is free from all sins can understand Krishna's aja. So Lord Krishna is using different adjectives to understand, to speak about himself. Aja means unborn. So Lord Krishna is unborn, still he takes birth during Janmashtami. So Lord Krishna is Anadi. Anadi means without beginning. And Maheshwaram, what does Maheshwaram mean? He's the Lord of everyone. Deva Deva, Jagat Pate. He's the Lord of everyone. So in this way, Lord Krishna is speaking about himself. How can we understand God? Only when God speaks about himself, we can understand him. I think in one of the classes, we explained two processes to understand God. One is the ascending process, other is the descending process. Did we explain this? Ascending process means you use your own imagination to understand God, which will never be perfect. Descending process is when God explains about himself. So here Lord Krishna is explaining about himself to all of us. So Bhagavad Gita verses are very, very important. Today morning, we were just reading from a book of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada explains that everything that Lord Krishna speaks is a mantra. So every verse of Bhagavad Gita, every word is so very important for us to meditate on. So these are the qualities of Krishna. Krishna is unborn, beginningless, and Krishna is Maheshwar. He is the Lord of everyone. So Krishna's Achintya Shakti, how Krishna, even though he is the Supreme Lord, how Krishna appears in this world as a human being, looks like a human being and performs all these beautiful pastimes, is very difficult for us to understand with our own little brains. Only through the process of bhakti one can understand Krishna. This is Bhishma Dev. So only way we can understand Krishna is by following the footsteps of great souls. Like we have 12 Mahajans, Bhishma, Brahmaji, Shivaji. So when we follow in the footsteps of great souls, through the process of bhakti, then we can understand Krishna slightly. Otherwise, it is impossible for anyone to understand Krishna. In text 4 and 5, Lord Krishna explained, these are two very beautiful verses, and Prabhupada gives very beautiful purports. I don't know how many of you are doing it sincerely. I don't know how many of you will actually go back home and read the purports of Srila Prabhupada, but I'm speaking this every time, I'm repeating it again, I would highly encourage everyone to please do it. The real magic, more than the translations of Bhagavad Gita, is actually in the purports. So Prabhupada's purports are written so well, so beautifully. We just need to spend some time in reading the purports. So in text 4 and 5, Lord Krishna is listing out different qualities. Buddhir, Jnanam, Asammoha, Shama, Satyam, Dama, Shamaha, Sukam, Dukkam, Bhavo, Bhavo, Bhayam, Chabhayam, Evacha, Ahimsa, Samata, Tushtis, Tapo, Danam, Yasho, Yasha, Bhavanti, Bhava, Bhutana, Matta, Eva, Pritak, Vida. So this chapter is explaining, Lord Krishna is explaining his opulences. So Lord Krishna says, how can we experience Krishna in this world? All the qualities that we see in us, in anyone else, in the world around, everything is coming from Krishna. So Lord Krishna is listing out all these qualities: intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness, distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, satisfaction, austerity, fame, infamy, everything comes from Krishna. So we don't have time to read the entire purport. I would have loved to do it, but I will just touch on few points. Just to show you all how Prabhupada is so brilliant in explaining his purports. So Prabhupada defines each of these qualities in one line, one sentence. The most precise definition. What is intelligence? In the material world, we may have a different definition of intelligence. But Prabhupada is saying intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in the right perspective. So what is intelligence? To analyze things in the right perspective. Prabhupada defines knowledge. What is knowledge? Prabhupada says knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. This is knowledge. One to understand the difference between spirit and matter, Atma and the material body. Asammoha, freedom from doubt and delusion. Prabhupada says, can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands transcendental philosophy. It's very clear. If you want to get free from doubt and delusion, what we have to do? We have to understand philosophy and we should not be hesitant about it. That means we should be eager to come to classes, read books. Only when we do it, we'll get free from all our delusion. So Prabhupada explains the word Shama. Shama, which Lord Krishna explains here, means tolerance or forgiveness. So Prabhupada says, what is tolerance and forgiveness? Tolerance and forgiveness should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. So we have to practice this. So this virtue has to be practiced. And how it can be practiced in our daily affairs, right? Some small things everyone keeps doing. Just forgive them. Satyam. What is truthfulness? Prabhupada says, truthfulness means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. We present it as they are. Don't misrepresent something. Control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. So Prabhupada this is the the third paragraph. So Prabhupada says control of the senses means one should not use senses for unnecessary sense enjoyment. And then Prabhupada mentions Sukham. Just a minute. So Prabhupada mentions Sukham. Sukham means happiness. How does Prabhupada define happiness here? Happiness should always be in that which is favorable for cultivating Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says, what is happiness? Anything that is favorable for bhakti, that should actually give us happiness. And similarly, what is painful, which causes distress in that which is unfavorable for cultivating Krishna consciousness. So completely different. In this world, our definition of happiness is that gives pleasure to the senses. But Prabhupada says happiness means when we are practicing bhakti, that is happiness. And when we are not practicing bhakti, that is actually misery. That is distress. And then Prabhupada says bhava, birth means which refers to the body. There is no birth for the soul. Fear. How does fear come? Prabhupada says fear is due to worrying about the future. When we are too worried about the future, we are fearful. In the next, third page, Prabhupada defines ahimsa. What is ahimsa? Prabhupada says non-violence means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. This is ahimsa. Samata, equanimity, refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. Satisfaction, tushti, what does it mean? One should not be eager to gather more material goods by unnecessary means. Tapasa means austerity, penance. And Prabhupada explained charity. Prabhupada explained charity. This is the third last paragraph. Prabhupada says, as far as charity is concerned, 50% of income should be gone for the good cause. and Prabhupada says, good cause means Krishna consciousness. Simple. Charity matlab 50% straight transfer it to Krishna consciousness. That is charity. Yasha, fame. This is the third last paragraph. Prabhupada says, what is fame? According to Lord Chaitanya, who is the most famous man? A devotee of Lord Krishna is most famous. And then if you see these qualities here, you'll find some good qualities, some bad qualities also. So Prabhupada says, whatever we find in this world, good or bad, everything is origin from Krishna. Everything ultimately comes from Krishna. In this way, Prabhupada explains this purport so beautifully. These are the various qualities that come from Krishna. So whenever we have these qualities or whenever we see these qualities in someone else, we should be able to connect to Krishna like this. हमको वो कृष्ण का connection इसमें देखना है. In text 6, Lord Krishna explains, Maharshaya sapta purve chatvaro manavastata tadbhava manasa jata esham loka imam praja. So those who are progenitors, those who are prajapatis, those who progenate and create, Lord Krishna says, all of them have come from me. So Lord Krishna says, Brahma, the 7 Sapta Rishis, the 4 Kumaras, Manu, all of them have actually come from Krishna. From Manu, the Manavas come. You have the Sapta Rishis, you have the Chatush Kumar. Lord Krishna says, everyone actually comes from Krishna is the source of everything, right? And then Lord Krishna concludes this section, this first section, verse number 7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvata so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshaya. So Lord Krishna says, one who understands me properly, one who understands Krishna properly through proper devotional service, such a person will engage in devotional service. Or such a person will actually glorify Krishna. So the more we hear about Krishna, Tattvata, the word Tattvata means as it is. The more we understand Krishna, we will be freed from all doubt. All doubt will go away and we'll have the conviction to preach Krishna consciousness. Yesterday we were discussing this point. Prabhupada mentions what is Krishna conscious movement. Two things Prabhupada says, two words. One is to assimilate the philosophy that is given here. And the second thing Prabhupada says is to disseminate the philosophy. So these are two things we have to do. Assimilate the wisdoms of Bhagavad Gita, what Lord Krishna is giving here, and disseminate the teachings to others. That's it. Once you understand, you can actually preach and you can lead by example. So now, the next section, which is a very, very important section, the most important section in this chapter and in the entire Gita, verse number 8 to 11, 4 verses, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, 10.11. This is called Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. This is the essence of Gita. These 4 verses are the most important verses in the Gita. This is called Gita in a nutshell, yeah, Gita in 4 shlokas. These are the 4 shlokas, most important shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. So let's discuss these 4 very important verses. Text 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanvita. So Lord Krishna says, I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So in this verse, Lord Krishna is speaking the concept of sambandha. When we understand Krishna properly, we can actually worship Krishna. So here Lord Krishna is using the word Buddha. Buddha means those who are wise. How do you become wise? How do you become intelligent? By hearing about Krishna, right? So Prabhupada defined knowledge means that which can distinguish between matter and spirit. So the more we hear about Krishna, the more we understand the glories of Krishna, the more wise we become, the more intelligent we become, right? So therefore, we have the greatest acharyas in our sampradaya or the Vaishnava sampradaya. There can be no one who's more intelligent than them, even from the material point of view. Shankaracharya, Ramanucharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Baldev Vidyabhushan, these were the most intelligent people. How did they become wise? Just by connecting to the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Krishna is saying here that we have to become wise by hearing about Krishna. So Lord Krishna is using the word here, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Prabhavo means Krishna is the source of everything. Everything in this world, material world, spiritual world, everything comes from Krishna. And we find these verses time and again in the Gita. We saw in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is explaining this verse. Bhumi rapo nalo vayur kham mano buddhi revacha ahankara itam me binna prakriti ashtada. So Lord Krishna says, earth, water, fire, air, ether come from me. In the previous verse we saw Lord Krishna is explaining that all the qualities come from me. Lord Krishna is saying Brahma, Chatush Kumar, all the Sapta Rishis come from me. So similarly, Lord Krishna here says, material world, spiritual world, everything is coming from Krishna. Creation doesn't happen with a big bang. Creation happens because of a big brain, because of Lord Krishna. So, So therefore, Lord Krishna is saying here, when we understand Krishna properly, then what do we do? Bhajante, iti matva bhajante mam. So listen to this. Lord Krishna is saying, the wise who perfectly know this, engage in my devotional service. So sometimes we may have a question, We have to perform bhakti. Bhakti means chanting Hare Krishna. Bhakti means doing arti to Krishna, doing puja to Krishna. But in order to do that bhajan, Shravan is very important. So Lord Krishna is saying, Iti matva bhajante mam. When we hear, understand Krishna, when we understand the philosophy well, we'll be able to do our bhajan well. We'll be able to do the practices well. Otherwise, the chanting may be, we may do chanting, but we may not have faith in that process. We may be doing chanting, but we may not be able to put our heart into it. So therefore, understanding philosophy is also very important. Understanding about Krishna. The more we understand about Krishna, the more better our worship can be. And then Lord Krishna is using the word here, Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Bhava here refers to love. Right? So, Prabhupada translates Bhava Samanvita as with great attention also. Right? Like a prime minister comes to your house, you will serve him with great attention. Similarly, when Lord Krishna comes, when we understand, so how will you serve the prime minister well? When you understand how glorious this person is, you will take care of him nicely. Your attention to him will be more better. Similarly, when we hear about Krishna more, and when we practice the process of bhakti, bhajan, we'll be doing more out of love. And what is love? Love means attention. If you love someone, you're attentive. That's like a small child. A mother has a small child. If the mother loves the child, the mother will be very attentive to the needs of the child. Isn't it? Similarly, if you love Krishna, you're attentive to his needs. Now it is time to offer Krishna. Now Krishna will feel hungry. Now I have to dress Krishna. So you're very attentive to the needs of Krishna because you understand the glory of Krishna. So therefore, books are the basis. Bhagavad Gita, Tattvata, once we understand the scriptures well, then bhakti to Krishna can become very easy. So books, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, Gita, Bhagavatam is essential for us to continuously chant Hare Krishna and perform the process of bhakti. Okay? So there is much to be said about this verse, but this like sums up the Sambandha Gyan. Lord Krishna is saying, I am the source of material and spiritual world, and anyone who understands my glory, he will worship me. ऐसा व्यक्ति मेरा पूजा करेगा बहुत प्रेम के साथ, दिल डाल के, हृदय डाल के, 100% attention के साथ भगवान कृष्ण का भक्ति करेगा. ठीक है? So now, this was verse 8. Verse 9, which is the second Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Madchitta madgata prana bodayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. This is the process of Abhideya. So once you understand the glory of Krishna, Sambandha Gyan, then you will practice it. And what is practicing? This is what it is. Lord Krishna summarizes practicing as coming in association of devotees and discussing about Krishna. That means you are doing bhakti. Doing bhakti means coming in satsang and discussing about Krishna. Chitta, the word here, Lord Krishna is using the word Mat Chitta. Mat Chitta means such pure devotees, they are always thinking of me. So we all have a Chitta, consciousness, but our is filled about thoughts about ourselves only. So Lord Krishna is saying a pure devotee is Krishna conscious. Right? So the Prabhupada has started this movement so that we can bring Krishna more and more into our chitta, more and more into our consciousness. So such pure devotees are always thinking of Krishna within their hearts. And for such pure devotees, Krishna is their pran. Mat chitta, mat gata prana. So for these devotees, their life revolves around Krishna consciousness. So this is a pure devotee, just like a fish. A fish cannot live without water, even for a second. So a pure devotee means he just cannot live without Krishna. A fish, you bring it out of the water, the fish will start suffocating, तड़प जाता है basically. So वैसे ही a devotee should be A progressing devotee, matlab, without Krishna, devotee gets very agitated. When he comes to Krishna, he is like peaceful. In the 11th chapter of Gita, when we discuss next time, Arjuna saw this universal form. But after seeing the universal form, Arjuna was very, very scared. He told Lord Krishna, show me your original form, two-handed form. And when Arjuna saw the two-handed form, Arjuna tells Krishna, now I am back in my original nature. I am seeing you like this. So Prabhupada explains the devotee is not interested in seeing the universe. The devotee is more interested in seeing Krishna. So bodhayanta means devotees help each other. They are helping each other through the process of Krishna consciousness. So in the process of bhakti, no one can say that I can practice bhakti alone. We all need association. And association means when devotees are helping each other connect more and more to Krishna. So by preaching the process of Krishna consciousness to each other, we all gain a lot of benefit. So therefore the word katayanta means discussion, preaching discussion. So this kind of discussion should be there. Maybe just two devotees, but just coming together and discussing what you have read, what I have read. Right? In this way, we can actually relish these messages more and more. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you read all these books, if you read Bhagavatam, you'll find Vidurji meeting Uddhava. Only two devotees meeting, but they are having like discussion for hours and hours together. So devotee association, not necessarily you have to have a lot of devotees. Just one or two devotees coming together and connecting with keeping Krishna in the center is very, very important. And when we do this, Tushyanti cha, Ramanti cha, we will be happy and satisfied. So Lord Krishna's formula for happiness and satisfaction is very simple. What is the formula? Just sit and discuss Krishna Katha. You don't have to run around anywhere. Okay? Just sit and discuss. So simple. But people don't have faith in this process. They run around everywhere, but they are not satisfied. You spend so much money, you are not satisfied. Simple, just sit and discuss Krishna Katha. There is so much bliss that one can get. Like Arjuna, Prabhupada explains in the 11th chapter. I'm going back to the 11th chapter. Yesterday I had a class in Mapsa. We discussed the 11th chapter. So the 11th chapter is still fresh in my mind. So Prabhupada explains in the 11th chapter, the universal form. Prabhupada explains, see, no one can see the entire universe sitting in one place. Is it possible? Can you, being in Goa, can you see America, Europe, Australia? You can't see it. You have to move around. Right? But Prabhupada explains, for a devotee of Krishna, Krishna is so merciful. Sitting in one place, a devotee can experience everything. A devotee doesn't have to go around anywhere. So just you read Gita Bhagavatam, whatever you have to experience, everything you will experience. Just sitting and reading. But we need to have this faith that whatever we need, whatever we are looking for is there in these books. So therefore, coming in association of devotees, discussing about Gita Bhagavat is what will give us happiness and satisfaction. Tushyanti cha, Ramanti cha. Tushyanti means satisfaction, Ramanti means happiness. Just like when we eat food, na? When we eat food, there is two purposes of food. One is to satisfy the belly, and other is to make you feel happy also, na? One is you don't eat food only to satisfy belly, right? You eat food also to feel good about it. Nice, I've tasted something different, right? That good feeling is also there. So similarly, when we hear good quality Krishna Katha, when we spend time, few hours hearing about Krishna, after the whole thing, you will feel satisfied spiritually and you will feel happy. Prabhupada would often say, you don't need a certificate from anyone else, whether you're progressing or not. Your own heart will tell you whether you're experiencing that satisfaction and happiness that we are looking for. So this is text 9. Text 10 is also a very important verse. Text 10. Tesha satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So, when we hear about Krishna in association of devotees, what we will gain? है कि नहीं? To do something we need an inspiration. मुझे क्या मिलेगा in return? So Lord Krishna is saying, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Tesham satata yuktanam. If you see the previous verse also, it says katayantascha mam nityam. So these words are important. Nityam, satatam. So when we are continuously practicing, constantly practicing devotional service to Krishna with love, Lord Krishna says, I will help such a devotee. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. So Lord Krishna is saying, I will personally come. Lord Krishna, he's there to help everyone, but Lord Krishna doesn't personally interfere in anyone's life. But when Lord Krishna is noting that this devotee is very, very sincere, he's coming to me again and again, he's practicing the process of bhakti. So then Lord Krishna says, okay, let me help. Lord Krishna personally comes and gives the intelligence. What intelligence? How to go to Krishna, that intelligence Lord Krishna will give. So what is real intelligence? Real intelligence means it's not that you have to keep coming back to this world again and again. That is not intelligence. Real intelligence means how to get out of this world. That intelligence Krishna will give. So here also we find the word bhajatam, service. The mood of service is very, very important. Preeti purvakam. Preeti purvakam means out of love. So we have to be doing that service out of love. We have to be chanting out of love. Out of duty also, yes. But then slowly the duty should become love also. Right? From duty platform, you come to the platform of love. Preeti purvakam. And then satata yuktanam. Satata yuktanam means always engaged in Krishna service. Always engaged. So Krishna consciousness bhakti is not one-time affair, an occasional affair, once a week affair, once a year affair. It's a constant affair. It's a constant relationship that we have to be in touch with Krishna. This is a very beautiful chart. This should be a progress in spiritual life. See, when we come initially in Krishna consciousness, we are just curious to know what is happening. Right? People are just curious. Slowly, when we are in the process of Krishna consciousness, we come from A, just being curious, we come to point B, where we feel that devotees are good. Okay? Nice people. I like Hare Krishna people. Or you may say, I like Hare Krishna Prasad. Right? Or I like Hare Krishna outing, whatever. But some amount of appreciation comes. At least you like something. You like devotees, or you like Prasad, you like Kirtan, you like something. Gradually, this is an outsider. He just comes, like you have people who just peek inside and they go. They don't stay back. So these are people who are like well-wishers. They say nice movement, nice movement. But we want people to progress beyond that. So the next level is Krishna conscious is my religion. I will practice Krishna conscious as my dharma. I will practice bhakti. And then someone actually, from being a well-wisher, he starts to becoming a devotee, slowly starts to chant Hare Krishna. He makes some molds, some changes in his life. But this is not enough. Just practicing Krishna consciousness is not everything. You have to come to the next level where you feel that Krishna consciousness is my life. I just can't survive without Krishna consciousness. That mood should come. This is my life. This is my everything. So that desperation should be there. And finally, when you actually make the highest progress, you feel Krishna consciousness is my mission. I want to do it. I want to inspire everyone to do it. So then you go out as a missionary. Initially, you are an outsider. Then you come as a well-wisher. Then somewhat little inside gradually. But then gradually you grow and you feel that this is my mission. It's not someone else's mission where I just come and touch and go. It is my mission to practice Krishna consciousness and to preach it. It's my mission, my responsibility. So that kind of growth actually should come. And when we grow further, as we grow ahead, you will see Krishna helping you more. In this level, Krishna will help you a little. But when you come to this level and you take that responsibility, my mission to push this movement forward, then you will see Krishna in your life very often. You will see Krishna help coming very often in your life. So this should be the progress. This should be the progress that people make. The ISKCON pyramid. So you feel that Krishna conscious bhakti is not only my life, it is my mission to continue pushing on this movement. Mam upayanti. So Lord Krishna says, when we practice bhakti like this, Krishna gives the intelligence so that we can all go back to Krishna, which is the aim of our life. To go back to Krishna and being in the service of Krishna. The last verse of the Chatushloki, this section, text 11, which is also a very beautiful verse. Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnana jamtama nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena basvata. To show them special mercy. Tesham. Tesham means for them. Who is this them referring to? Those who are sincerely practicing bhakti. So Lord Krishna is not speaking about jnanis, karmis, yogis. वो लोग तो definition में है ही नहीं. These 4 verses, Lord Krishna is very clearly speaking about devotees. And what kind of devotees? Those who are practicing bhakti sincerely, seriously, regularly, intensely. So Lord Krishna says, for such people, I will help them. And for such people, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Lord Krishna is saying, I will take personal responsibility to destroy all agyan, to destroy all darkness, to destroy all suffering. And for whom this mercy comes, Tesham evanukampartam. Anukampa means mercy. This mercy comes when a devotee puts effort. So therefore in Damodar Lila you have these 2 fingers. A devotee's effort and Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy will come. So this 11th verse will happen when the 9th verse happens. 11th verse comes after 9. Na? For the 11th verse to come, the 9th verse has to happen. And what is the 9th verse? In association of devotees continuously doing bhakti. Only when the 9th verse happens, then this Anukampa will come. Otherwise, Anukampa is not going to come. Krishna's mercy will not come. For Krishna's mercy to come, we have to sincerely practice bhakti. So, Anukampartam, to show special mercy, Lord Krishna shows special grace to our devotees. Atma Bhavastam. So, Krishna is already residing in our hearts. It's not that Krishna is outside somewhere. Krishna is already within our hearts. Just that we are not realizing it. So, when we practice bhakti, Krishna in our heart, the Paramatma becomes active. When you don't practice bhakti, Paramatma is there, but the Paramatma is passive. But when we practice bhakti, the Paramatma becomes actively involved. Ajnana jamtamaha. Krishna destroys. Nashayami jnana deepana. He destroys all ignorance with knowledge. So Prabhupada in this purport explains, see, we mentioned this point that how it is very important that we study books of Srila Prabhupada. But Prabhupada says, even if a devotee does not take advantage of the literature of the spiritual master, if he is sincere in devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself in his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada in all these shlokas, Prabhupada stresses on the word sincerity, seriousness. When we are sincere, Krishna will come to rescue. In English there is a saying, na? God helps those who help themselves. So if you are sincere, then Krishna will definitely come to your rescue. So these are the 4 verses which is called the essence of Gita or Chatushloki Gita. So we discussed 1 to 7, that how Krishna is the source of everything. 8 to 11, the essence of Gita or Chatushloki Gita. Now the next section, 12 to 42, the entire rest of the chapter, is how Krishna can be seen everywhere. How you can see Krishna everywhere. Another very beautiful set of verses. Text 12, Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. So Lord Arjuna, he is glorifying Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary person. Who is Krishna? Arjuna is saying here, Param Brahma. Param Brahma means Krishna is that supreme Brahman, the supreme source of everything. Param Brahma. And then Param Dham. Krishna is the ultimate abode, the ultimate resting place. Okay? That's like a boat. Na? A boat always wants to dock somewhere, wants to rest. Or the boat has to be anchored somewhere. So in all our life, if the boat is not anchored, the winds will just toss the boat here and there. And the boat will be miserable. Similarly, in our life, we all need some anchor, something to hold on to, something to rest on to. What we can rest on to? Krishna. Krishna is that supreme abode, Param Dham. Paramam Pavitram. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So Lord Krishna is the purest of the pure. That's like the sun. The sun is so pure. Even if the sun rays falls on impure things, the sun rays can purify that impure thing, but the sun rays will not become impure. Similarly, Krishna is so powerful, Krishna can purify anyone. There's a verse in the scriptures which say, there is no sin that you can commit so big that Krishna's name cannot purify it. Whatever sin you have committed, chanting of Krishna's name can purify anything. He is the most pure. Purusham, again a very important word. What does Purusham mean? Krishna has a form. God is not formless, Nirakar, Nirvishesh. You'll find this word Purusha coming again and again in the Gita. Purusham. Even in the 11th chapter of Gita, again and again Arjuna is using the word Purusham. So Lord Krishna has a form. God is not formless. Shashwatam. But what kind of form Lord Krishna has? He has an eternal form, not a temporary form. Divyam, transcendental form, not a material form. Adi Dev, Lord Krishna is the original of all demigods. Krishna is Jagannath, Deva Deva. He is the master of all the demigods. So you can see all the demigods here, and Krishna is the master of everyone. He is Adi Deva. Ajam, Ajam means unborn. Even though Lord Krishna is unborn, still he takes birth. So this is the way one should understand Krishna. You understand the qualities of Krishna, you understand the attributes of Krishna. Like this, our love for Krishna will grow. Krishna is Aja, he is unborn. So even though he is unborn, he takes birth in order to show mercy for all the conditioned souls. Vibhum, and Vibhum means Lord Krishna is the greatest, or is the source of all opulences in this way. And then Arjuna, in the next verse, same 13, Ahustvam Rishya Sarve Devarshi Naradastata Asito Devala Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. So Arjuna, this is a very important point. Prabhupada mentions in the purport. See, Arjuna is not telling that Krishna, I am accepting you as God because I just feel you are God. Arjuna is saying, no, it's just not me accepting you as God. Ahustam Rishya Sarve. Arjuna is saying, not only me, all great rishis have accepted. Who? Deva Rishi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyaso Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Arjuna is saying, Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyas, all these people have accepted you as God. So devotees of Krishna are not fools. Who can be more intelligent than Vyasdev? Who can be more intelligent than Narada? Who can be more intelligent than these people? If the greatest of thinkers, the greatest of sages are accepting Krishna as God, just accept it. So this is what Arjuna is saying. So Prabhupada mentions this point here. One should not accept something just with your own intelligence. You have to also consider which are the great people who are accepted. So in this way, Arjuna is fully convinced that Krishna is God. So now, Arjuna has a request to Krishna. After speaking few words, now Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna, Vaktum, this text 16, Vaktum harasi asheshena divya hi atma vibhutaya yabir vibhuti lokana imam stvam vyapi tishtati. My dear Krishna, please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. So Lord Krishna has said that I am the source of everything, but a devotee like Arjuna wants to know more in detail. Right? So we discussed this point. Love means details. Love means attention to small things. So a devotee of Krishna wants to hear about Krishna more. In the Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit. 9 cantos he speaks. And towards the end of the 9th canto, Shukdev Goswami in couple of verses he summarizes entire Krishna Leela. Parikshit is saying, no, I don't want to hear shortcut. Please explain in detail. And then Shukdev Goswami goes in detail. So a sincere devotee, we heard about a sincere devotee who is eager to hear about Krishna. Now we are seeing an example of a sincere devotee. Arjuna is saying, my dear Krishna, I want to hear everything about you in detail. Text 17. Katam vidyan aham yogims tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu ch bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. My dear Krishna, how can I think of you constantly? So this is a prayer of a devotee. A devotee is not praying to Krishna, my dear Krishna, when will I get wealth? When will I get this? When will I get that? When will I get freedom from suffering? That is not the question. A devotee's question is, my dear Krishna, how I can think constantly of you? In what various forms I can constantly meditate on you? And see the next verse, text 18, very beautiful verse, the mood of Arjuna. Vistare, you all can repeat this after me. Vistare atmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuya kata atriptirhi shranvato nasti me mritam. This is the mood of a sincere devotee. O Janardhan, again please describe it in detail the mystic power of your opulence. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. This is a sincere devotee. A devotee is never satisfied with what he hears. A devotee wants to hear more. So Arjuna already knows Krishna. Arjuna is the best friend of Krishna. He's seeing Krishna. But he's telling Krishna, my dear Krishna, I want to hear more and more about you. And Prabhupada is quoting in the purport. This is Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, you have the sages of Naimisharanya and Bhagavatam. Same mood. Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yachranvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. The sages of Naimisharanya are saying, Vayam na tuna vitripyama. We are never satisfied about hearing about Krishna. We want to hear more and more. So Prabhupada is explaining here that this is real nectar. So Prabhupada is saying, as far as Amrita nectar is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is real nectar. So we all want to experience that nectar, that juice in life. That nectar is Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means either Gita, Bhagavatam. So the more we hear, the more we want to hear more and more. Okay? Like if I give you all ice cream, good quality ice cream, right? You want second serving or not? You want, na? Okay? Yeah, if I give you like real good quality rabdi, rasmalai, एक से हो जाता है. You want one more, na? So that means अच्छा लगा तो और चाहिए. So similarly, Krishna Katha is real nectar. Once you have something, you want to have more. That means you are experiencing the taste of it. So now Lord Krishna starts. Arjuna has asked this question. Now Lord Krishna starts from 19 till the end of verse 42, the list of his opulences. How you can see Krishna in this world. We'll do this a little quickly. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Antate Katayishyami Divyahi Atma Vibhutaya Pradanyata Kuru Shreshta Nasti Anto Vitarasya Me. Lord Krishna is saying, I can give you a big list, but I will tell you only the most important one. Krishna is a little merciful. Like if Krishna has to explain the whole list now, this class will never end. So Lord Krishna is telling, I will tell you only the most important of my opulences. And then Lord Krishna starts. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhuta Shayastita Aham Adishcha Madhyamscha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. So Lord Krishna says, I am the super soul in everyone's heart. In all our heart, who's the super soul? Krishna. Right? I am the beginning, middle and end of all beings. Our life has a beginning, our life has a middle and end. Everything is Krishna. Adityanam aham Vishnu Jyotisam Ravi Amshuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi. Lord Krishna says, of Adityas, of demigods, I am Vishnu. Of light, I am the sun. We see the sun. So when we see the sun, we can be very Krishna conscious. This is Krishna. Is the sun created in factory? Some Ambani, Tata has made the sun. Who has made the sun? Krishna has made it. So Krishna is saying, I am the light of the sun. Of Maruta, I am Marichi. Maruts, I think, are the wind gods. Wind gods. So Lord Krishna is saying, I am Marichi. Of all stars, nakshatra, Krishna says, I am the moon. Vedanam sama vedosmi, devanam asmi vasava, indriyanam manasushchasmi, bhutanam asmi chetana. Of all the Vedas, I am Samved. Of all the demigods, I am Indra. So basically in this entire section, what basically Lord Krishna is telling is, anything in that category, any best thing, that is Krishna. Of all the demigods, the king of demigods is Indra. So Lord Krishna says, he is why it is Indra is not Krishna, he is a vibhuti of Krishna. Vibhuti means he is one of the energies, or he reflects one particular energy, one particular aspect of Krishna. Of all the demigods, I am Indra. Of all the senses, I am the mind. And in the living being, in the every living entity, I am the force, life-giving force. Bhutanam asmi chetana, the consciousness. Rudranam shankaraschasmi viteshu yaksha rakshasam vasunam pavakaschasmi meru shikari namaham. Of all the Rudras, I am Shiva. Of Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Kuvera. Kuvera falls under the category of Yaksha. Of Vasus, I am Agni. And of mountains, I am Mount Meru. Purudosam cha mukyam mam vitipata brahaspatim senaninam aham skanda sarasam asmin sagara. Of priest, Purohit, so Lord Krishna says, I am Brihaspati. Of generals, those who are great fighters, I am Kartikeya, Skanda. Of bodies of water, I am the ocean. In Goa, you have ocean. So anytime you go to an ocean, you can feel this is Krishna's energy. You know, just seeing the ocean, you feel so liberated. The ocean is so big, so deep. Who can create something like this? This is Krishna's magic. This is Krishna's energy. Maharshinam Bhrigur Aham Giram Asmi Eka Aksharam Yagyanam Japa Yagyosmi Stavaranam Himalaya. Of great sages, I am Bhrigu Muni. Of all vibrations, I am Om. Of all chanting, of all Yagya, Lord Krishna says, I am Japa Yagya. So of all different kinds of Yagya, chanting is the most important Yagya. And of all immovable things, I am Himalayas. So in the previous verse, Lord Krishna says, of mountains I am Meru, of immovable things I am Himalayas. Why is that? Because at some time, mountains would move. In a particular yuga, mountains had wings. But Himalaya is an immovable thing. So Lord Krishna says, of immovable things I am Himalayas. So Prabhupada mentions here, the mountain named Meru was mentioned in the previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable. Just like during Samudra Manthan Leela, Meru Parvat, no, it was Mandara Parvat. But sometimes mountains are movable. Himalaya means that which can never move. Ashwatta Sarva Vrikshanam, Devarshinam Chanarada, Gandharvanam Chitraratha, Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. You've seen a banyan tree? Banyan trees are so divine, you know, just going around a banyan tree, the vibrations are so different. You know, so that banyan tree is Krishna. Of all sages among demigods, Devarshinam, I am Narada. Of all Gandharvas are those who can sing well. I am Chitraratha. And of all perfected beings, Siddhas, I am Kapila. Uchchai Shravanam Ashwanam Vidimam Amritot Bhavan Ayvaravatam Gajendranam Naranam Cha Naradipan. So Lord Krishna says, of all horses, I am Uchchai Shrava. Uchchai Shrava was born from the churning of the ocean of milk. Of all elephants, I am Airavata. Airavata also was born that time. The elephant of Indra. And of all men, I am the king. Naradipa. So a king or someone who has power also is respected. Ayutanam aham vajram. Denunam asmi kamaduk. Praja chasmi kandarpa. Sarpanam asmi vasuki. Of all weapons, I am Vajra, the thunderbolt, lightning, which is Indra's weapon. Of all cows, I am Surabhi. And of all causes of procreation, generation of children, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of all serpents, snakes, I am Vasuki. Anantas chasmi naganam varuno yadasam aham pitram aryama chasmi yama samyamatam aham. So Lord Krishna says, of all many hooded nagas, serpents have one head, nagas have many heads. Of nagas I am Ananta. Of aquatics, those who are in the water, I am Varuna. Of ancestors, Pitra, there's a planet called Pitraloka. And the king of Pitraloka is called Aryama. Aryama. So Lord Krishna is saying, of all Pitras, I am Aryama. And of all Samata, those who make everything equal, or one who gives justice, I am Yamaraj. Prahladas chasmi daityanam kala kalayatamaham mriganam cha mrigendroham vainateyascha pakshina. Of all daityas, of all demons, I am Prahlad. Prahlad was in the demon family. Of all subduers, matlab those who can finish anyone, I am time, Kala. Of all animals, I am lion, the king of all animals. And among all birds, I am Garuda. Pavana pavatam asmi Rama Shastra Britamaham Vyasanam Makraschasmi Shrotasam Asmi Janavi. Of all purifying things, I am the wind. Of anyone who's using weapons, I am Ram. Of all fishes, I am the shark. And of rivers, I am Ganga. Yesterday was Janu Saptami. Janu Saptami is the day when Ganga is worshipped. Of all rivers, I am Ganga. Sarganam Adi Antascha Madhyam Chaivaham Arjuna Adhyatma Vidyanam Vada Pravadatam Aham. Of all creations, Lord Krishna is saying, I am the beginning, end, and middle. Of all science, of all knowledge, Lord Krishna is saying, I am the spiritual science. We have different departments of knowledge, but the spiritual science is the most important. And of all logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Aksharanam Akarosmi Dwanda Samakshiya Cha Aham Evakshaya Kalo Dataham Vishwatomukha. Of all letters, I am the letter A, Akshara, the word A. And of all compound words, I am the dual compound. I am inexhaustible time. And of creators, I am Brahma. In the next verse, Lord Krishna says, I am death. Death is also Krishna. And Lord Krishna is saying, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness. All this I am. And then Lord Krishna says, Brihat Sama Tata Samnam Gayatri Chandasamaham Masanam Margo Shirshoham Rutunam Kusumakara. Lord Krishna says, of Samved, if you remember in the previous verse, Lord Krishna says, of all the Vedas, I am Samved. In Samved, there are different hymns, different ways in which you can sing. So Lord Krishna says, of all the different hymns in Samved, I am Brihat Sam. Of all poetry, I am Gayatri Mantra. Of all months, I am the month of Margashish, November, December. And of all seasons, I am Kusumakara, the spring season. Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham Jayosmi Vyasayosmi Sattvam Sattvatamaham. Lord Krishna is saying, I am the cheat also. Of all gamblings, I am also gambling of cheats. So Prabhupada explains in this purport, how do you explain that Krishna is cheat? So Lord Krishna is saying, Prabhupada is saying here, as the Supreme, Krishna is the greatest cheater. If Krishna decides to cheat someone, he can cheat people royally. You will have like great demons who are very intelligent. They were thinking that they are very smart, but Krishna would royally cheat them. So Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna's greatness is not one-sided. It is all-sided. Krishna is great in all levels. Right? You can't beat Krishna in any level. Right? I am victory, I am adventure, I am the strength of the strong. So then Lord Krishna says, of Vrishnis I am Vasudev. Of Pandavas I am Arjuna. Of sages I am Vyasdev. And of great thinkers I am Ushna. Dando Damayatam Asmi Niti Asmi Jigitsatam Maunam Chaivasam Guhyanam Jnanam Jnanavatamaham. So Lord Krishna says, of all means of surpassing lawlessness, I am punishment. So the Danda is also the principle of Krishna. And then Lord Krishna is saying, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence. Silence is also Krishna in some level. And of wise, I am the wisdom. And then Lord Krishna says, Yachati sarva bhutana bijam tad aham arjuna tad natad asti vina yatsyan maya bhuta characharam. So Lord Krishna is saying, I am the seed of everything. There is nothing that can exist without me. So Lord Krishna is basically telling Arjuna how much list I can give you. Understand that everything is depending on me. Nantosmi mama divyana vibhutina parantapa esha Tudashestata Prokto Vibhute Vistaro Maya. So Lord Krishna is saying there is no end to my opulences. I have only given you a indication of my opulences. Text 41 is a very important verse. You all can repeat this verse after me. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Shrimat urjitam evava tat tat evava gachatvam Mama tejo amsha sambhava. So Lord Krishna is summarizing, know that of all opulent, beautiful, glorious creations, they are just a spark of my splendor. So anything in this world that you find big, glorious, beautiful, you should understand that ये सब कृष्ण का एक झलक है. That's it. It's a spark of Krishna's splendor. Prabhupada was one time with his devotees and they were walking on a beach and the devotees were seeing the beautiful sunset. And the devotee was so mesmerized. Prabhupada, just see the sunset, so beautiful. Prabhupada immediately said, if the sunset is so beautiful, how beautiful Krishna will be who created all this. Just imagine. So that's the whole idea of this chapter. Anything we see in this world that we feel, wow, amazing, this is so good. Connect to Krishna and see that this is all coming from Krishna. If this is so beautiful, what will be Krishna? And the last verse of this chapter, text 42. Atava bahunaitena kim yatena varjuna vistabhyam idam krishnam ekam shena stito jagat. So Lord Krishna is saying, my dear Arjuna, what is the need for such detailed knowledge? Simply understand, with a single fragment, I support this entire universe. Vistabhyam idam Krishna ekam shena stito jagat. Just a single fragment of my spark and my splendor is supporting the entire universe. So this is how the 10th chapter ends. The acronym for 10th chapter is see, how you can see Krishna everywhere. So after this, in the 11th chapter, Arjuna tells Krishna, my dear Krishna, what you spoke here, I want to actually see it. And then Lord Krishna shows the universal form. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sorry for going a little over time. Anyone has any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.